What you're looking at now is delicious sourdough English muffins with mature cheddar cheese and caramelised red onion chutney, and they're going to be delicious, and I'm going to show you how easy they are to make in a video in the future, but for now I'm just going to show you what they look like when they're done. I've got a beautiful cast iron skillet for my birthday, which is ideal for cooking these in, and you just do it on the stove top. So let's have a look and see what they come out like. Now you can use a cast iron skillet pan like this, or you can use a regular frying pan, which I've done. As I said, I got this for my birthday and it works on my induction hob as well, so it's going to be ideal for making these. So we just put it over a medium heat, get it warm. We've got a lid which we're going to put over the muffins as we cook them. This just helps them to cook evenly and rise. We get a bit of colour on them. They go 4 minutes each side. So let's put the first lot in. You don't want to put too many in the pan in one go. You want to give them enough room to breathe, because they are going to puff up. Now these have just got a very light coating of corn flour on them. Just a light coating of corn flour. We put a lid on and just leave them on the heat like that. I'm going to put 4 minutes on my timer. And after that we're just going to check the bottoms of them just to make sure we've got a bit of colour on them, and then we're going to flip them over and do them on the other side for another 4 minutes. And then they're done. We just rest them then back onto the sill pat, which I've got over there on my baking tray, and they'll just cool down. And you can freeze these. I put a lot in the freezer, just a couple in a small freezer bag, and then you can take them out as you need them. But once they've cooled down and you toast them, they're delicious. Okay, so 4 minutes has passed. They should have a bit of colour on the one side now, so we're just going to flip them over. And I know they look still a little bit on the flat side, but this is where the magic happens. After the first turn, this is where things start to go. And we'll see them puff up even more. So put those in the pan. Got the heat a little bit high there, so I'm just going to turn it down a little touch. Put the lid on, we'll let those finish for another 4 minutes on the other side. But you can already see they're starting to get some height on them. After that first turn, things start to happen and they start to puff up. Especially you can see on that one. And they'll keep on going. So you've got something that looks a bit more muffin-like. And that's the sourdough starter that's in there, and also the bicarbonate of soda doing that. They're very easy to make. You wouldn't believe how easy to make. You make an overnight sponge, which basically is your sourdough starter, or discard from your sourdough starter. I just use my starter, and then you mix that with some all-purpose flour, plain flour, and some milk. You stir that all up, just mix it so the flour is all incorporated. It's like a wet, sticky sort of sponge. Leave that in a bowl with a loose covering. You can put some cling film over the top and poke a few holes in, or some sort of loose covering. If it's a Tupperware bowl, for instance, just leave an air gap, because that's going to ferment overnight and do wonderful things. And then the next morning you mix some more flour into that, some salt, some sugar, and some bicarbonate of soda, or baking soda. Mix that all up in your electric mixer, or you can do it by hand, it's up to you. And you roll it out on a floured surface to about 3/4 of an inch thick. Cut out the rounds with whatever cutter you've got available, what you want to use. I actually use a silicon egg cutter, which I can't show you at the moment because it's in the wash, but that does for me, and it gets the perfect size, I think, for these muffins. And then they go onto the baking tray, sitting on some cornmeal. When you buy muffins in the shop, you've got that dusting of cornmeal, coarse cornmeal around them. So you put cornmeal on the baking sheet here, and it coats those lovely. Sprinkle a bit on top as well. And they stay on here for 45 minutes to an hour. And then you can get to this stage where you can stick them in the pan and cook them. So let's get these out in a minute and swap them over for the next batch. Okay, the next batch is in on their first 4 minutes. Now, as I said, these are cheese and caramelised red onion. Basically what I did, put a good handful in the dough just before it finished mixing, just to let it incorporate, and a heaped teaspoon of a nice sweet caramelised red onion chutney, and just mix that in. It doesn't make the dough gooey or messy to work with at all. You'll hardly notice it's in there, but you will notice it in the flavour when they come out. Now it's important that during the cooking process, I can just hold my phone better, that you just give them a little move in the pan as they're cooking. Just spin them round a little bit, because the outside edges of the pan is slightly warmer, and you will find you'll get a little bit more colour on these insides here. So if you just give them a spin round, you get a bit more even colour. I find that you only get this with the cast iron pan. With my sort of non-stick frying pan that I was doing it in before, you don't get an uneven colouring really on them. So just spin them around a little bit, put the lid back on. Periodically, when you get to about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just have a look underneath and see if you've got the colour. So you can see that you don't want a lot of colour on them. That's about perfect, that is. You can see it's got a lovely crust on it, and it's beautiful and soft inside. You can see that's got a lovely texture there. You can see they've puffed up really well. They will be beautiful. I'll probably have one of those for my lunch today. So I'm just going to have a check of these to see how they're doing on the other side. They've been turned over, the second batch now. You can see puffed up beautifully. Got a lovely bit of colour on them. It's so soft inside though. So soft you can feel it. Really lovely moist inside, and beautiful crust when you've toasted them. Let's just have a look underneath and see what these are looking like, see if they're ready to come out. You can sometimes tell by just moving around in the pan, you can hear if it's crunchy on the cornmeal or not. But if we have a look at that one, a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. These are a bit paler as well, so let's just have a look on the back of these. Yeah, they've got a bit of colour on. Let's put a bit more on the other side. Perfect. And there's a little bit more colour on it. Another minute or so. Alright, now there's just another minute left on the timer. They're smelling beautiful. That cheese and caramelised red onion combination. You don't have to put anything in the dough if you just want plain ones. Just leave it as is. Don't put anything in them. But I can definitely recommend the cheese ones. I've made these before and they are lovely. I suppose you could make other combinations. You could, I don't know, if you wanted a sweeter one, you could put some honey or maple syrup with the sugar in it. If you wanted a sweeter one. There's the timer. Turn that off. Take these out. Put them on the tray with the other ones. They've come up lovely. Couldn't ask for better, really. I think I've got the perfect size cutter for my muffins. Turn them off. We'll put these in a bit more detail. They'll come out lovely. That one at the back's a little bit smaller. It's made from the leftover dough at the end. But, as you can see, they've come up beautiful. They've puffed up. They've gone well over the 3/4 inch that you cut them out. They've got some beautiful colour on them, like dusting a cornmeal. And they smell delicious. So there you go, look out for that future video because I'm going to be making that very soon. I'm showing you how to do these from scratch. We'll make the overnight sponge and then the next morning we'll roll them out and cut them out, show you how to do that, and mix them in the stand mixer probably for speed. And then we'll go through the cooking process again on my induction hob so you can see exactly what's going on and how long to cook them for to get the perfect colour and the perfect rise. So I'll see you then.